team in an early morning, which kind of, we're all outside Redskin Park, and we hear that Pete Taylor's inside. We're stunned that first you're there, that you've made this trip with Jackie to speak to the team. What did you want to get across to the guys?
Well, I think it was just an invitation by the owner for me and the family to have a healing process, which I'm grateful for, because I had a chance to come back and relive the flight into Dallas.
Right.
Drive up to the Redskin field again, and it was very emotional, but it was rewarding because I got a chance to just relive that fire again. And when I walked into the office, I got a chance to meet with Joe Gibbs and the owner himself, and I tell you, they were showing so much love, had all us in the tear-eyed.
Right, right. So, and you saw, I think you made a point to go down to the locker room and see Sean's locker, is that correct?
I did.
Yeah, you saw it encased there in the plexiglass. I mean, what are your thoughts when you see this? This is right here. This is even at FedEx Field, the locker at FedEx Field. I mean,
it was so emotional. It just, as you see, it brought back so much. So much.
Sure.
I mean, I was here 6 weeks before Sean had gotten shot, and he reached up to the top and gave me a plaque, Defensive Player of 2000, his rookie year.
Right.
He gave me some other things, paraphernalia that he wanted me to have, and I tell you, when I walked back in there, I was just devastated for a moment. Then I came back together, and I said, you know what? It's been good.
Yeah.
Everything has been good.
What do you keep of Sean's? Any type of game jersey or memorabilia that you keep? It really keeps him in mind?
Well, as you know, since Sean played football at the age of 6, I have all his films, everything he's ever done.
Wow.
And I have it sealed, I have it in the boxes, and I keep everything. I keep everything. It's very special to me with all my kids.
Yes.
Whatever they do.
this team has won 4 straight. You asked them to win 5 straight, make the playoffs. They got 4, they made the playoffs. Why do you think they've won? I mean, do you feel like it's Sean's presence there?
It's character. It's character. It's the coaches. It's the ownership. It's the players. I think Mr. Brown would tell you when he first went there, it's about leadership and teamwork and unity. And I think that it took us another spark to bring that through, but they took it and they held on to that prize.
Right. There certainly were differing opinions on how much Sean has played a part. You heard the guys last week talking about winning by 21 over the Cowboys and how special that was to them. Take a look at a quote from a Seattle writer, John McGrath. The headline of the piece said, "Let Taylor talk, rest in peace, too." And one of the quotes just says, "But if the idea is to honor a teammate who died too soon, then honor him. Stop the nonsense about Taylor's influence in arranging predestined point spreads and replace his name on the depth chart for Saturday's game in Seattle with starter Reed Doughty." That's from John McGrath. And I bring in Kelly Johnson, if I can, from Seattle for more on the Sean Taylor situation. And Kelly Johnson, you certainly have talked with this team, day in and day out about Sean Taylor and the reasons for them winning. Do you really get a sense that they feel like Sean is right with them?
Absolutely. You can hear it in their voice. You can see it in their eyes. You obviously can see it in their play. These guys believe he's there, and more than anything, it's put life in perspective. It has given them a greater purpose right now, something to fight for, and for a team that was really down, they needed something to hold on to. And Sean's memory and the way in which he played the game, that's what they wanted to do to honor him. It taught them to go all out as hard as they could to play through pain. Clinton Portis has talked about not worrying about being hurt out there, feeling like he has the strength of 2 men, and the fact that he can do anything. And you see it in Santana Moss as well. He's a different player right now. They believe it, and they need to fight for something, and Sean Taylor would have wanted them to do that. That's the other thing they talk about, is Sean would have wanted them to play through and to win, because he loved football more than anyone. He had a passion for it, and so it really is special to see what these guys have been able to do, to see Joe Gibbs keep this team together, and you can just feel it. That's all I can say. You can feel it.
Kelly, we have Pete Taylor here, obviously, and Pete, I don't know if you know this or not, but Kelly Johnson, as far as relationships go with Sean Taylor, probably the closest when it comes to area members of the media. Kelly, I ask you, we have Pete here. Anything you want to share with Sean's father?
Yeah, I would just like to tell Mr. Taylor that I really felt blessed to not only cover Sean, but to be able to call him a friend, to get to know him, that I was able to earn his trust and really, have conversations on the side, and the thing I remember about him the most is that smile and those eyes. He was so charming. He was so sweet. He used to call me Miss Kelly. He used to thank me after doing an interview. Thanks for having me. And we all know he didn't like doing interviews. And it just, I tried to help him over the years about the media, give him advice how to deal with the media, and really show himself. And I guess my only regret is that I wasn't able to do it even more, because, when fans would hear an interview that I would do with him, they would always come up to me and say, wow, I really like him. And they would also say, he's so soft and quiet compared to his play on the field. And I always talk to him about that. Sean, I wanted him to show himself. And, of course, he didn't care about the limelight, which is another thing you could respect. Yeah. And I always know after a loss, he would tell me, I don't want to talk because I have nothing to say we lost. I mean, he took every loss to heart so much. And so I just enjoyed him. He was really a pleasure. And his face lit up when he talked about Jackie. To see that transformation from when he came in as a rookie to becoming a father, I mean, it was remarkable.
Well, thank you, Miss Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Okay. Very fitting. What is it? He was, by the way, your son, just didn't, I'll say this, he didn't like talking to us, always very respectful. He was one of the guys, and they're athletes, Ray Brown knows this, who when they blew you off, you felt it. And you felt like, boy, I feel like a piece of dirt.
Gust of wind.
Yeah. With Sean, he was so respectful in saying, I'm really not going to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. But he was so respectful. He just, why do you think, I mean, you're kind of shy yourself, it looks like. Why do you think he's shy? As good as he was and as much as he could talk about the game, because he was so intelligent about the game, why do you think he shied away from the media?
Well, it was about the team. He didn't want to focus on him. He wanted it on the team. And that was Sean. He loved to play the game, and he gave all he had, but it wasn't about Sean. It was about a unit.
Right.
And he's learned that from a very early age, that there's no I in team. And when you understand that, because you not blowing you guys off, but he'd have blew the other teammates off.
He has. Don't worry about it. He has.
So therefore, he wanted to make sure that he always put the guys first, and that's why Sean did that.
How much are you guys getting just watching this team do what they do? How much is it helping the healing process?
I mean, I said it before. This is the only team that Sean has played for professionally. I'm a diehard Redskin for the rest of my life. Hail to the Redskins!
Yes.
And I'm just loving it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Taylor. We certainly, as I said, we were surprised when you said yes to our invitation. Pete will be here for the post-game show, which. The guys got to get a win.
Yes.
Yeah, the guys got to get a win, because wait to see what the players, when they find out that you're on post-game, they talk to us, and we'll talk with Greg Williams as well, who was kind of like a surrogate father for your son when it came to this team.
Yes.
Sean, Pete Taylor, we thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, for being here. And again, he will be on the post-game show. The family of Sean Taylor, as we said before, created the Sean Taylor Memorial Fund, which benefits students at the Gulliver Schools, of course, of which Sean Taylor was an alum. Again, City Smith Barney, 100 North Tampa Street, Suite 3000, Tampa, Florida, 33602. We're back with Pete Taylor on the post-game show. Coming up on post-game live, as I said, Pete Taylor will be here, and he will maybe we'll get his views on what took place on the game. Hopefully it's after a win. Joe Gibbs press conference, as always. Kelly Johnson takes care of the player interviews and your analysis, courtesy Brown, Mitchell, Arrington.